All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, YAHAWAHSHI'S, Ba'ashem, Requah, Gradash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS and a sincere Shalom to the brothers out here pushing this truth and sincerity. And what I have here is the U.S. Navy Intel Chief warns China, Masonic, I think that's what it says, uh, leader planning a Taiwan war with the USA. And I'm gonna get straight to the point of this. Well, I'm gonna start playing the clip soon enough, but this is just to show further proof that no matter how much people want to have hope that in believing that there's no war that's going to happen, it's far too evident and far said, being spoken, far too spoken, that World War III is going to be a thing. And you seen these other countries getting riled up. You seen this place getting, well, the leaders of this place, well, I should say the puppeteers of this place getting riled up because the leaders, the actual leaders of this society, want these wars to happen, and they're looking for it to happen. They're kicking up shit. They're being the big bullies of the world, and they're doing their thing. A lot of people will ignore it, but we can't ignore it. We don't want to ignore it. We want these things to happen. People on the low level, the average citizen, don't even want to hear about this. But what happens when they announce that we're in World War III? People are going to start panicking because guess what? They didn't want to hearken into this. People going to be left out in the dark. Now you got some people that are watching for these type of things. You know, the people that's just in the box of the society, as people will call woke, but that's as far as they get. You got them preppers. They don't understand that their stuff is going to be taken. But to stay on topic of the video is to show that you can no longer hide what's happening. They are gearing up, and people might try to deny it or this and that, but these people are ready. They ain't saying this for nothing. They ain't even having those missiles in the silos for nothing. So we're gonna go ahead straight to it.
Well, China continues to assert its power and influence in the Pacific, and the tiny island of Taiwan is in Beijing's crosshairs. China's president has ordered his military to be ready to invade by 2027. And President Biden has vowed to send U.S. military forces to help the island defend itself. Well, George Thomas brings us the story from Taipei, Taiwan.
Last August, the Chinese military sent a loud wake-up call to the United States and allies in the region with this massive, unprecedented drill simulating a blockade of Taiwan.
It crossed a multi-threshold that did not happen for decades.
176 warplanes, 41 Navy ships, and dozens of attack and reconnaissance drones choked off Taiwan's waters and airspace for 72 hours. 11 ballistic missiles also landed in the waters around the island. Dr. Alexander Huang is a leading Taiwan-China.
Now, as you can see, and I'm going to keep going with a little bit more of this, you don't practice drills for nothing. Practicing drills is to keep you in aware of anything that could happen at any given time. So the fact they said 2027, they're just giving a roundabout because that's when they're expected to be ready. Why? Because they know that anything can happen to where they can bump it up to 2024 or 2025. You never know when that can happen. They just expecting to be ready for war. Because guess what? They're seeing it. So, as Matthew 24:6 says, it says, and ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. Right now, we're seeing the rumors of wars and the actual war that's about to play in. Because why? Because these militaries gotta get ready for the upcoming battle. We already been through World War One and Two, and the all other side wars that's been with it. So what about now? We're in another case of a war that's being readied. Let's keep going.
A military specialist.
China give, 1 spoon of different dishes to Taiwan, and we got the taste already. If they put out the full plate, the whole table, we probably will have a big problem.
And military
So that shows that these countries are ready to conquer China, Russia, and any other power that's trying to kick it in.
activities near the island haven't stopped. A record 1,727 Chinese fighter planes crossed into Taiwan's air defense zone in 2022, compared to 960 incursions in 2021 and 380 in 2020. 2023 has been no different.
The Chinese outward expand
Military with modern weapon systems, including
I'm going to fast forward a little bit.
fighter jets, tanks.
Taiwan is mountainous and is a perfect place for defenders, but Taiwan has not invested in its defense. And part of that is because Taiwan's generals and admirals have bought the wrong equipment over the course of decades.
In January, a Washington-based think tank simulated a war game of China invading Taiwan in 2026. In 24 different scenarios, the Center for Strategic and International Studies said Taiwan could likely fend off a Chinese invasion only if the United States came to the island's defense. If not, Taiwan would fall in 3 months. President Biden has repeatedly vowed to defend Taiwan in case it's attacked.
To be clear, sir, U.S. forces, U.S. men and women, would defend Taiwan in the event of a Chinese invasion.
Yes.
Now I'm going to stop there real quick because they already planned this out. They already have their own game mapped out on how they want to invade such and such area. No different from Russia. See, China and Russia is just playing with their food at this point because guess what? They know they can take the place down. They know they can take it down anytime they want. But war makes money. Not guarantee you, it probably makes them money too. It's just these rats make more money off of it. So that shows a lot of how these wars are done by these heathens. Because when we was in power or when we went to war, we tried to make them war as quick as possible throughout our time. But these guys, they want to prolong wars. Why? Because lives cost them money. They don't even, or should I say, lives gain them money. So with the lives of their military being put on the line, or anybody that they draft into the war, and then property that they take makes them money. So at this point, they just playing around with it. Of course, war is strategy always. So we're talking about in a time where we're using guns instead of just going up to somebody with using a spear and a weapon and a spear and a sword. Now they got jets that could bomb areas versus us just using an arrow. So we see what this is going. We see how this is playing out. But all of these things are inevitable. These things will happen. People don't want to believe it, but these will happen. See, they're constantly upgrading their technology. And they're not stopping. They're making more and more weapons of mass destruction. They want this World War III to be a big one. Every other one, the First World War was a big one. Second World War was a bigger one. This one's going to be the biggest one. It's going to be a time like never before. Not just because of the military and what they're going to go through, but even in their societies, when people are drafted, the dollar collapses, people being killed on the streets because of martial law, because the society collapsed or was on the verge of collapsing. It's going to be a time like never before, and people refuse to understand it, and which is good because it's only for the hopeful elect. The hopeful elect is the ones watching out for this everywhere, not just with politicians inside of this place, but what's going on around the world. This is to stir up people's spirits, because guess what? Their comfortability is about to be taken. This is Ecclesiastes 21:8. It says, "He that buildeth his house with other men's money is like one that gathereth himself stones for the tomb of his burial." And Esau used our money. I'm not talking about this paper money. I'm talking about our gold, our silver, to build this place based off of our bloodshed. And guess what? This was deemed to be his downfall, along with Babylon and the people, the 2/3 of Babylon, in all any other heathen that's in Babylon. So that's why this is important, because a lot of people are gonna be scared in that day when they actually announce World War III. Think about it. You was living a good life all this time. Now you're starting to see that this place is going to hell, but you have this hope that it's gonna bounce back. But when you find out it doesn't bounce back, it just gets worse from here. It's no wonder them Edomites was just jumping off buildings. It's no wonder that these people just say F life, and it's just like they just ended there. Meanwhile, us, we're used to this type of pressure. We already know how it's going to go. Well, at least as far as how to survive in a certain way. In a certain way, we manage, we adapt. But these other nations don't know how to adapt like we do. Even then, in that day to come, a lot of our people not going to be able to adapt well, but we'll adapt better than these other heathens. So this is a how should I say, a tomb for Esau, a tomb for a lot of these people. Really, these people won't know what to do. So this is Micah 6:12. Actually, before I go there, to go a little bit further with this, there was an article that popped up. Small article, very small, really, proving that they are ready for this. So, everybody's favorite fun president, Biden, as it says, Biden says the U.S. is prepared to act forcefully to protect Americans. Now, this was on March 24th. Biden says on Friday, said the United States is prepared to act forcefully to protect Americans, commenting after the U.S. military carried out airstrikes against Iran-backed forces in retaliation for an attack that killed an American contractor, wounded 5 U.S. troops. It says, make no mistake, the United States does not seek conflict with Iran, but be prepared for the U.S. to act forcefully to protect our people. Meanwhile, he left a lot of people stranded when he pulled his forces back. But guess what? This is a lot. Some people may not even pay attention to this part, but if you see the pattern, the U.S. is fighting with Iran again. Russia is fighting with China, and now Russia is fighting with Russia. The U.S. is fighting with Russia. So the U.S. is fighting all these people and has no one back them up. Dividing your forces sounds like a good strategy, but then what happens when they all come at you at full force? So this is Micah 6:12. It says, for the rich men thereof are full of violence. It says, and the inhabitants thereof has spoken lies, and their tongue is deceitful in their mouth. And this article is one of it. The president is nothing but a puppet and a spokesman. And he just conveys the lies that these rats tell him to convey. But it said it. It says, for these rich men are full of violence. They're the ones going around conquering the world, going around bullying other countries, make a profit off of people, make a profit off of death, make a profit off of water and air, make a profit off of GMO food. And you mean to tell me these people, you have hope in these people to keep this place going? You have hope in these bastards to keep this, to even want to live in this society? To have hope that you have that you can live in this society forever, having to pay taxes, having to work, having to be injured during work, get old and still get injured, and live the same lifestyle over and over again with nothing to look forward to. If that's what people want, they can have it, but they not even gonna get to have it, because this place will be destroyed. No matter what people think about, it's all in vain for what they thought. So let me see. I got another scripture too. This is Salakia. This is Joel 3:2. It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. So you heard it right then there. The Lord said he gathered all nations. And as you're seeing a lot of nations about to get ready for this one big war. Iran, Russia, China, the US. They everybody getting routed. Hell, the UK is actually even getting involved again. So no matter what people say, this World War III will happen. I know I said it quite a few times already, but it's to show how big this sucker really about to be. Because this is going to be massive. And wars cause more problems. Wars cause more discomfort. With more wars, especially with how this is going, and the war haven't even started yet, and people getting taxed out of their ass. War hasn't even started yet, and the gas is going up. So imagine when it does actually happen. What do people want to do when martial law kicks in? Where I live at, that martial law happened, well, at least far as in my lifetime, only happened twice. Let's see, once or twice. One was recent, and people didn't know how to react to that. People were scared to even go downtown. So you can only imagine when martial law is actually permanent. But that's pretty much all I had going to that. So, little one, this is edifying. And with that, shalom.